Hi, today I want to offer my tips on gambling. I know you've been waiting for them. Anyway, the first one is an easy one, which you have likely heard many times before. Do not gamble anything that you cannot afford to lose. Now, people perversely believe that gambling excessive, troubling amounts is a lot of fun. I call that masochistic. Well, it might be fun like driving 100 miles an hour in your car, but when you or someone dies as a result of that foolhardy behavior, it's not fun. It's tragedy. Gambling has ruined many lives, and I've known a few of those poor souls myself. So it's a recreation which in excess can have disastrous consequences, but in mild doses it can be a lot of fun. Secondly, make sure that you understand the games you are playing, and that includes knowledge of all the rules and twists of the game, as well as mastering some basic fundamental strategies for each game that you play, and that includes the fundamental play of the hand as well as money management, or playing what I call playing the chips. The best way to accelerate your losing is to play badly, and many gamblers play stupidly and foolishly. Their know-it-all strategy usually follows intuition and premonitions that are often suboptimal mathematically, almost guaranteeing poor results. So patiently observe games of chance. Make inquiries to experienced gamblers and even research games via books or the internet. And you do all these things before you start playing. You want to be a smart, educated gambler. Gambling isn't for fools. Thirdly, learn to quit when you are ahead. Some never seem to learn this lesson. Now, we must understand that gambling publicly in games where the odds are against you usually means losing. So in the fortunate case when after playing some time you are winning, there is nothing wrong with ending your session and walking away a winner. One problem is that for some, winning is never enough, and so they can continue to play after a nice hot streak in the hopes of winning a lot more. Nothing satisfies them. Often the result is giving back some of their winnings, or worse, all of their winnings, and even winding up walking away a loser. That is bad psychologically because we all need victories, and so in a recreation, when they don't come easily, when one finds one on the verge of a victory, one should learn to protect it by ending the session before the victory becomes a loss. The best way to turn a win into a loss is to push your bets, meaning increasing bet size when winning. It's a bad strategy conducive to losing most of the time. Fourth, we need to learn to stop playing when subject to a bad streak, which can be commonplace. People always think that the next big good hand is coming, and in the meantime, while losing a lot of money, they're stuck to the table. I believe that when you hit these not so uncommon bad streaks, when everything goes wrong, you need to make changes. Sit out a few hands, change things up, take a refreshment break, or simply go to another table and perhaps another game. You can even take a hiatus from gambling for a time. You can sit there and keep getting pounded on the head with accelerating losses, or you can attempt to change an unfavorable pattern. You need to break up a bad streak, one way or another, and if the streak continues, then you must cease playing for the time being. It's as simple as that, but not so simple for some people. Fifth, one smart tactic is to have an a priori goal in terms of winning and losing. Often such goals are a function of time played or how you have done, and often involves both. So formulating these goals and sticking to them is a useful risk management technique. The number one goal is always to avoid losing a ton of money, and there are thresholds that one can devise to ensure that not happening. One should avoid excessive drinking while gambling because poor and risky play usually accompany lots of drinking, especially when free drinks for some are hard to decline. Getting drunk and playing well are at odds with the goal of successful gambling. Now, some admittedly don't care about the loss aspect of gambling because they're playing with stakes that are well within their financial means. So they just want to gamble without a financial mandate, and they don't want to think about odds and fundamental strategies and all the rest. That's their right. And if they choose to play poorly and make odds against plays, that is their right to play that way. But one should always avoid being viewed as a nuisance, especially if drinking is involved. But my sixth tip is to mind your own business at the tables and don't focus on others' play, as the tendency when one does that is to distract oneself from one's own proper play. People seem to get caught up in other people's poor play, especially with games like blackjack, and they get all bent out of shape when another player does something seemingly foolish. Mind your own business. Focus on your own play and your own behavior and not on that of others. That's a good rule in general for people to follow well beyond the world of gambling. Lastly, it's healthiest to view gambling as a recreation and not a money-making venture, even though money can be made. And there are pros who try to do that all the time. It is hard to do, and most so-called professional gamblers struggle a lot. So I heartily recommend a more relaxed, recreational view of gambling suited to your own tastes. Some like to play in a crowd. Others like to play in privacy. You need to figure out your own taste and combine with the philosophy of gambling amounts that are affordable to you that can provide you with the true enjoyment of gambling. And that's it for today. Thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed the whole series on gambling. Take care.